Greetings, nutrition students, and happy chapter number 15. So as I explained last time, our book transitions a little bit, and now what we're going to do is talk about more specific needs for each of the different stages that we go through in life. And so here, chapter 15 is talking about nutrition for our children, from infancy all the way up until 18 or till they leave home or till they're out of that stage. We'll talk about some of the specifics that we should be aware of during this time. So one of our biggest concerns, and we've mentioned this when we talked about adults, is the obesity rates that we're now seeing in our kids. If we look at this slide, we can see that the green bar is actually from the 1970s. The yellow bar is more from 2011, 2012. And so we can see here what disparity there is, right? We can see how that green bar hasn't really grown a whole lot, right? That yellow bar has really grown in the percentage of our children. So this is under the age of 18 that are obese. And so we're looking again at over 20% of our kids, like 25, are in that obese category right now, which is just very unhealthy because again, their bodies should be going through getting nutrients for the process of growth development, muscle, lungs, heart, all of that. And that excess weight is going to affect them in a negative way. So diet-related disease conditions in our kids. So why do we have this epidemic? It is an epidemic of kids in childhood obesity. A big one is diet. So as we can see here, high calories, high saturated fat diet. So our kids like beef, they like cheese, they like, everything that contains butter, oils, all of those foods, but they like a lot of them. That's what we mean when we say high calorie. So if a child should be consuming 1,500 calories a day, they're eating 2,500 calories a day. So they're overeating. So you're getting more than you need, and what you need, you're not getting, right? So the whole grains and fruits and vegetables. Instead, you're focusing primarily on this high-fat diet. And then on top of that, we have low activity. So that compounds the problem. The fact that our diet is bad and our physical activity is bad. They're both low, and that's not a good thing. And again, leading to all of these chronic diseases. These are all conditions that will just more or less be with you for life. Right, so our eating for our young ones, so we're talking about infants here. And so as we can see from this chart, there's huge transitional changes for our babies. When they get to 4 and 6 months, this is when we could start to introduce a little bit of rice cereal, little Gerber jar food, and then we get to 6 to 9 months. This is more fun. I like this stage because this is when they could start to have some Cheerios, and they could start to eat different types of textures and foods as long as they're soft. And then 9 to 12 months, they're doing even better, eating up some different types of things that are chopped up very finely and stuff like that. What we should be concerned about or aware of is that we should not be giving these to our infants. Again, a year and under. Carrots, hot dogs, and grapes. And the reason being the size. So the reason is that our children's throat and esophagus is still at a size that is developing, and each of these 3 different foods poses a harm to choking. It is the size and the structure of these 3. And so just be aware of that. Right, again, you can read through this and kind of see this progression of how our babies are able to start this eating process. Food allergies, we've talked a little bit about food allergies and intolerances before. So food allergies in general are very common for our kids, our babies in particular. Their bodies are young, they're still forming, they don't have full immunity yet, and so they tend to have a lot of allergies. And what we see is that as they grow older, they let go, their body will adapt, and we don't continue to see that. Now for some kids we do, they will have a lifelong allergy, yet for many of our kids they will go away on their own. We've mentioned lactose intolerance before. So lactose intolerance is that inability to digest milk sugar. And we need to be aware of what that is. So lactose intolerance is a food allergy. It is an allergic reaction to milk proteins. And it's classified as a food intolerance, meaning that your body doesn't want to tolerate that sugar. right? Meeting our kids' nutritional needs. So you should, if you're parents, make sure to read through this, and you can see from the chart, we should be having lots of vegetables on that plate. And this is one that is a challenge because, you know, unless we teach our kids young, they can steer away from those vegetables. The reason being, you know, if you have a chance to eat something that has sugar in it, like a strawberry, and then you get to have a piece of asparagus or, you know, Brussels sprout, your baby's going to go, oh, gee, the strawberry tastes way better, right? It's true. And so we have to teach them that it's, even though that may be the case, there is sugar in fruit, it does taste good. The vegetables are necessary. They're part of our diet. So how do we make our kids have these healthy habits of eating? Number one is allow our children to determine how much they want to eat from good food. In other words, as a parent, it's your job to set the dinner table with healthy food. That's your job. If you're a parent that never offers vegetables at dinner, if you're a parent that only offers, like, you know, one night you have pizza, the next you have lasagna, and then you have spaghetti, then you go back to pizza, lasagna, spaghetti, you're not providing your child with a variety of healthy foods. And so that's number one, is that's our job. And then our child should be able to pick from those foods what to eat. We've mentioned before, breastfeeding is a positive thing to do for your children, reduces that risk of food allergies. What we know from research is that compared to kids that do eat breakfast, children that do not eat breakfast are more likely to be hyperactive. You wouldn't think that's so, right? Because you would think, well, no, it's the kids who got the energy that are going to be more hyped up. But it's not, because now what's happening is as your child's body is starving because they didn't have breakfast, their body is breaking down that glycogen to provide the energy that they need. And it's not getting any other good nutrients with that. And so we don't want this. I remember when I taught elementary school, I would have kids come to school hungry every day. And I hated it because our kids, that's, you know, our responsibility is to let them walk out that door with the possibility of having a great day of learning, a great day of social and emotional health. And they can't do that if they don't start off with breakfast, a good breakfast preferably. In terms of breakfast, as a parent, I used to always ask my pediatrician different questions. So what we recommend is typically if you're looking for a cereal or something to give your child, we want 10 grams of sugar or less. So look at Cheerios, look at the side panels and say, how many grams of sugar are in this box? And, you know, some of those, I don't know, Cocoa Puffs or different cereals may have high grams. I don't know, we don't really eat that, but they may have high grams of sugar in them. And so just be aware, try to keep it to 10 grams or less. Right, snacks for our little kids. So here's a good thing to focus on. I'll get the red stuff out of the way since I know you're probably writing things down. First of all, the term food jag refers to when our kids are kind of stuck on one food. They're like in this comfort zone. We talked about a little bit about that with hazards of just being right. So your kids are like, I only want chicken nuggets. Right? I only want chicken nuggets. No, I don't want that. I don't want pizza. I don't want anything else. I want chicken nuggets. They're stuck on this one food. And the reason is because that food brings comfort. It makes them feel safe and secure, and they're just not really able emotionally to venture outside of that safety in time they will need to. The best approach to encourage our kid to try new foods is to just offer them that food, but not force them, right? So we shouldn't do things like, okay, I'll give you like $1 if you take this bite. No, we shouldn't do that. We should really encourage it. What we really say is that it takes about 10 opportunities or chances for your child to be offered a particular food before they may like it. So what that tells me is that as a parent, it's my job to continue to offer it. So let's say you made meatloaf for dinner and they didn't try it last time. You make it again. And you make it again. And you don't make a big thing about it. You don't get frustrated. You just continue to offer it because they really say on the 10th time that your kid tries it, they will like it. Right? So it takes a lot of that. So don't shut things down just because your child said after 2 times, oh, I really don't like Chinese food. Right? Continue to go and continue to let them be exposed to it so that eventually it will, you know, open up their palate to something new. So again, if we look at the slide now, as far as what kind of snacks can we be giving our young kids, focusing on the fruit. Make this fun. Make popsicles from fruit juice. You know, my kids love it when I freeze grapes when they were younger. I would freeze grapes, and then when they pop those grapes in their mouth, it was almost like a little popsicle treat type of a thing. Again, this is for kids 1 year and over. Dried cranberries, other dried fruit. My kids love dried apricots, you know, raisins, things of that nature. So good fruit. Vary your vegetables. So I used to put ranch on everything to get my kids to eat their little carrot sticks or whatever it be. As long as I put ranch, they were happy with it. So vary those vegetables. Get your calcium. You know, find a good yogurt. You have to read the labels of yogurts because a lot of our yogurts contain a lot of sugar. And then try to do those whole grains. Pretzels are a really good one. Pretzels and graham crackers are two things that we always have in my home, along with popcorn. And so anyway, those are some good tips on what kind of snacks to get for your kids. So our concerns when we talk about kids, we're concerned about cavities. We're concerned about our kids not brushing and getting too much sugar on their teeth. We're concerned about lead toxicity, concerned about ADHD or caffeine, and then we're concerned about childhood obesity. Right? So again, obese children, they face diabetes. So they face some, you know, physical characteristics of diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, but then they also face that emotional, psychological issue of discrimination. Right? You know, it doesn't feel good when you take them to the store to buy a special outfit for their 5th grade graduation and everything they're trying on just doesn't fit right. It doesn't feel good to them. They want to wear something that they feel good in and that makes them look good, and they don't feel good because all these clothes are not really built for my size. And so, you know, they face that discrimination, kids making fun of them. Kids can be cruel. And I don't understand this because as a parent, I've taught my children to be kind with their words. We don't make fun of other people. Yet I constantly encounter kids who do this, who make fun of other children and other people, or adults in general. And so that's really hard when you're in an environment of peer pressure, like our kids are with school. Right, so healthier choices than our fast food options here. So, you know, making sure to not have that double, triple patty of a hamburger. Grilling our chicken or having grilled chicken sandwiches instead of fried chicken is always better. Grilling anything, it's the method. It's the beef is the protein's the same. Your chicken's the same. However, the way we cook our chicken is what's going to change it. Whether we use oils to fry it, whether we bread it, all of those things add some type of different processing to it, which is not healthy for us. The most natural process, the grilling of the chicken, is the best. Baked potatoes, I absolutely love baked potatoes. I can just eat them with butter, but you can put broccoli, you can put all kinds of things in a baked potato, but I love baked potatoes. They're really good for you. Instead of our French fries, which are again fried. And I know this is hard, right? Because like I like Kentucky Fried Chicken. I think one of the best things about Kentucky Fried Chicken is the skin. It's got so many spices and it's so good. However, I know the skin's not good for you. Having that plain chicken is better. Grilling tacos. So having tacos, you know, I'm Mexican, so we do a lot of tacos here. My kids' probably go-to meal is grilled chicken tacos. And so it's so easy. We actually just go to Costco and buy the whole chicken at Costco and shred that up and make some, you know, healthy tortillas. I don't mean make. I mean, I buy them. I'm just way too busy to home make anything. I buy them, and then we kind of assemble our tacos with some rice and some beans, and that's our thing. Choosing to have a turkey, lean turkey, instead of having like meatballs or something like that. So here's some good choices, but understand that as we see here, remember we mentioned before, when we talk about that vegan diet, that vegetarian diet, our concerns is that we get a lot of our iron from our protein. And so with the vegan diet, we have to make sure that you're incorporating legumes or beans or things that are protein-based that can give you that iron. Right, fitness for kids, what we said, or you need to know for the exam, 60 minutes is what our kids need to have, right, 60 minutes. And here's some really good ideas. Again, whatever it be, make sure, that was always one of our family rules, is you have to do something physical. My oldest did volleyball for years. Again, my son does water polo and swim. My youngest has done just about like 10 different things she's tried out and loves. So making sure as a parent that your kids get out there and do something. Yeah, so my son loves to game. Like, he's a gamer with his friends. He talks to them on the headset or whatever. They do their thing. And I don't mind so much because I know he was doing something physical for 3 hours a day. So when he comes home, I let him do his homework and game, whatever, because I know that he is still getting that physical activity, which is so important. Healthy eating for our teenagers. So now we're talking about adolescents. And as we said, the concern here is that they're not getting a good diet at all. So we know that our teens get about 25% of their calories or their energy from snacks, not meals, but just snacks. Therefore, it's imperative that you are incorporating healthy snacks into the home. I'm always surprised when my son tells me he goes to school and none of his friends have snacks or have anything. And so he says, yeah, they don't want to eat the school lunch, so we just go to Taco Bell. Because they're seniors or whatever, they're upperclassmen, so they can go off campus. And so we go get fast food because, like, we don't want to eat the cafeteria food, and nobody bought anything from home except my son, who brings his sandwiches every day with fruit, with, you know, all the things that I pack. But making sure snacks are so important. So what would you like for a snack? Maybe some protein bars or oat bars for our adolescents, dried fruit, beef jerky. My son likes beef jerky. You know, think of protein shakes, things of that nature are good snacks. But think of what you can do that you can send them to school with, but they eat a lot. They eat a lot because their body is growing. And in order to keep up that development of muscle mass, they need to have this food. And so they're getting a lot of calories from it. Make sure it's not all Doritos. Right? Doritos and Red Bull is not what they should be eating every day. Our concerns for our older teens, right, is that, again, because they're independent, they're going to the vending machines, and in the vending machines, there's no fruit maybe, right? They don't offer kids, oh, let's eat the apple instead of eating a bag of chips, and they should be. So as the typical American child gets older, the quality of their diet goes down. They stop eating fruit, they drink less milk, right? So, you know, my kids from the time like today, I don't have to remind my kids to take their multivitamin. I don't have to remind them to eat fruit. Did you eat fruit today? Right? Because from the time they were little, they understood that's just part of what we do every day. So what happens is they would say, oh, Mom, can I have a snack? And I would say, did you have fruit? What'd you have? Did you eat your apple and your lunch? Now that we're home, now you can have a banana? Then sure, you can have your whatever, you know, pretzels or whatever else you want. But getting them to have fruit is crucial, and getting them to still be drinking their milk or getting that calcium in them somehow. All right, as we can see here, remember we've talked before about the huge shift kind of in the norms of our children or adolescents, which is we've gone from, you know, really milk back in the 70s being the greatest, the liquid that was consumed in the largest amount, to soda being just a huge, huge choice for our kids. And so we see here that, you know, this is not good. This is really not good, because we need the calcium in the milk. And we already talked about, you know, 17 teaspoons of sugar and 1 can of soda. And then sometimes kids have multiple cans per day. That's just not a healthy thing. Right, so make sure to go through your clicker slides, and then on chapter 16, we'll continue to move on and talking about our adults and what we should be eating.